Hello, Tara. Is that Tara Cox? Seemed like I just saw some of you guys. Is this the way you hang out, Dustin? Just like this all the time?
Say it again, Bill. I'm sorry.
I said, is this where you hang out all the time in these Zoom rooms?
Yeah, just in my dining room, my apartment. That's all.
Yeah, I got the ice box close to me. That's all I care about. Refrigerator.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Got to chat down on some dinner between the two meetings. So
I see we got the genius with us, Mr. Philip Mueller, that tonight. He's ready to go.
Oh no, those few words you just put together in a sentence have literally never been spoken before. So thank you for the first time.
I hear it all the time.
Okay. Me wishing maybe, or maybe once in a blue moon thinking I did something smart, but never genius.
This is a busy time of the year, isn't it, Philip?
Yes, sir. Yeah, basketball, and we got a 1.5-year-old son now too. So that, I mean, that's fun, obviously, but that's another, running around. He's running faster than I am. So
congratulations.
Thank you.
I realized you had one. Ray's got a new baby too, doesn't he? About a year old.
No.
Yeah. So she is about a half a year younger. Yep.
Yeah. My little boy that's 40, he just gets to go back to work tomorrow. He's been out for 2 weeks with the COVID.
Okay.
That's fine. Some of y'all may have been there before. I was about a year ago. I got in on the first round early.
Yeah, you got hit with it what, in October, Bill?
No, I got it back in like March last year. Got it early, first round. Gary had it in October. Rushing's
That's right.
In October.
That's right, because right after we got done playing, he ended up. I remember that he ended up getting it.
Oh, you did?
Like Gary, yeah, like when we played Gary at Hazel, that's when right after that, I remember him calling me and telling me how he had a family member or player that had it. We played the game, and then he found out he was positive after we played, and then shortly after he ended up getting it too.
Well, we've had a lot of people catch it. Been a lot.
Yeah, I'm just glad everybody's okay.
We got lucky. My wife caught it over Christmas break. I was quarantined for about a week and a half. Me and my son didn't get nothing, like no symptoms, no nothing. She had one of the mildest cases I've seen.
Yep.
But she was still quarantined to the bedroom for almost 2 weeks.
Yep.
Well, like I said, my son had it, and they were all cooped up in the house together. Father-in-law and baby girl, 5, and a 16-year-old. So I'm figuring they're kind of glad to be free.
Yeah.
How's Trent tonight?
Doing good.
Well, I've got 7:30, and I don't want to prolong this. A lot of us have already said through about an hour of this stuff. Me and Dustin and Josh. I don't know anybody else here did or not. I know Shauna was in on it. So Carrie was in on it already. So we've already had a full evening. Do a little quick roll check here. We got Chisholm Trail here tonight. Anybody from Chisholm Trail? All right. Live in Arlington? Nobody from Arlington here yet?
Here.
Oh, we got
Right
Arlington.
here.
Okay. All right, Weston.
Yep.
All right. Burton Adventist. Burton Adventist. Robin Jenkins Group.
Yeah, that's Robin sent me.
So we don't have Chisholm Trail. We do have Newman Arlington. Now, Burton, I'm sorry, I got mixed up there all of a sudden. Is Burton here?
Oh, yes,
Okay.
Burton's here.
Westlake is here. Newman Cedar Hill. Newman Cedar Hill.
Here.
Thank you. Founders,
Right here.
Louisville. Matthew, you got Louisville? Matthew, are you from Louisville? Did I get that right?
No, he's from Cedar Hill.
Oh, okay.
Boulevard is from Cedar.
So we do not have Louisville here.
I don't believe so, but I'm not sure. I'm kind of scrolling through. I'm not a Zoomer. I'm a Google Meet dude. So
Yeah, I know. That's what y'all do.
Yeah.
I think Chad's trying
unprepared.
to do a golf meeting. Victory Baptist is here. Cornerstone.
Yes, we're here.
Granbury Cornerstone. Hazel. Gary's here.
Yes, sir. I'm here too, Bill. Hazel's here.
Okay, two of you.
Sean, I'm here.
Oh, okay, Sean.
Yes, sir.
You're behind my participant screen. I see you there now.
Yes, sir.
Josh is here from Parkview. Nazarene Christian. Nazarene NCA. Christian Life is here. Shauna, you still here? Either there, she puts her picture up.
Yes,
Oh, you're
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here too.
Who is I?
Sir. Josh, sorry.
Josh, okay,
Yeah,
I
I
see.
guess we
I'm
gotta
sorry.
give names
Trying
here.
to find
Yeah.
that, yeah. I was trying to find the yellow box. Victory Christian,
Yes, sir.
where are you?
Right here.
Okay, Rhett. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Trying to put faces with everybody. Dallas Academy.
Right here, Robert.
Okay, Robert, thank you. Trent's here from Wiley Prep. Heritage Christian Academy, Heritage.
I'm here.
Okay, Weston, thank you. St. Paul's.
Here.
St. Paul's is here. Harvest Lantana, Dustin. There you are. Okay, good. We got most everybody. So real quick, kind of want to go over a couple things that we've been dealing with all year. I'm going to see if I can actually do this better than I did a while ago. What I want to do is take you guys to our website. I know most of you are familiar with it, but I want to make sure you're familiar with it. I still have a little bit of work to do on this, which I'll go over at tcafellowship.com. And we're going to look at athletics tonight. We're going to look specifically at baseball. I try to keep this updated, but the way this year's gone, it's been kind of hard and I expect it to continue. As you can see, we've got right up here, Philip's going to give us a new pitch count link. And I'll get this updated. Philip and I have not been able to communicate too much because he's in class a lot. And then these are going to record the responses. We'll fix those between him and me, but that's where you find your pitch count. There's your pitch count responses. These are the 2 districts. Real quick, we'll look at this one. It'll pop up here. Can y'all see that at all, the baseball district? Probably not.
I cannot see it currently. I don't know where that window populated for you, but I don't see it.
I'm gonna just take it off right quick. It kind of.
But yeah, on those pitch count, just as you're looking, Bill, or moving around, I can talk a little bit about the pitch count. We had started this last year. I mean, granted, we all played maybe a couple games if you were lucky. We just went to the digital format because it keeps everything, at least in my opinion, a lot cleaner and clear and transparent. And it should be easier, honestly, for you all. That includes the game report too, because like once you submit that, I'll just get it instantly. It's not like you have to then like, maybe you forgot my name was Phil and you're like searching for my email forever and you're looking at past emails and all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, who do I send this to? As soon as you fill that form out, it'll just be populated to me so that I can get obviously standings out to all of you. So it should be like streamlined. The purpose of it was to make it easy.
Okay.
And if you ever have problems, like please ask me, like I'm here to help.
Yeah, Philip does a good job. You guys can count on him a lot more than you can me. It seems to get real thin this time of year, getting around to everything and being on schedule. But you can see we've got this bracket's already up. We're going to go ahead and try to play an 8-team bracket. Right now, we only have 6 teams in Division I. We tried to do this. Corey and I were real big on this a couple of years ago about getting these split up. Some of our teams got no chance of doing very well, particularly against you bigger schools. So we split them up in Division I, Division II this year. So we'll have 2 champions. But we'll still try to maintain an 8-team bracket, which would mean number 1 and 2 would get a bye in the first round unless we pick up another team or 2 between 9 district, which we shouldn't after February 1st, because that's when everybody's supposed to be registered. That we've dealt with this all year, this COVID thing, and it's probably not going to come up for you either. I'll just kind of look at it. If you're at the computer, you can click on it. Let's do a new share. If I could do this about once a week, I'd get pretty good at it. Can y'all see my little COVID calendar now? Okay. I'm pretty sure these are accurate, but I went through these pretty quick as the dates. We have our meeting today. First day for organized practice is the 29th, which is actually this week. On the 25th of February, your initial rosters are due. Those should be sent directly to Philip or your district chair. Philip, how would you like to handle that? Would you just like to take all of those? You want to send them to the district?
Yeah, I could just take all of them. That's probably easier. That's fine.
Okay. Will that Philip take all the rosters, and you want to do game reports too? Because you get pitch count stuff anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the game reports will populate to me already, so that's fine. That's all good.
Okay. All right. So don't worry about sending anything. That'll all go to Philip. Your rosters, though, will need to be sent to Philip on April the 5th, the final rosters. Initial rosters on the 25th. And we have on the 23rd is when our qualification date would be. 27th, tiebreakers should be finished. May 4th is scheduled for semifinals. And at the state tournament type situation, at this time, we're only going to play the 2 championship games rather than try to throw the consolation or other bracket in there like we usually do. But that's subject to change like everything else in the world is today. Somebody asked me today, is this solid? There's nothing solid in 2020 or 21. We've dealt with this all year. You guys have looked at some of this, I'm sure, in the other leagues in UIL and TAPS. That's where a lot of this actually comes from. When you're not social distancing, wear your mask, guys. Athletes are required to wear the mask unless they're warming up or competing, et cetera, et cetera. Same old thing. Basically, it's social distancing, wear your mask. Make sure all your players are well. Screen them before you take them to games. I do that on a daily basis. Of course, a lot of you have, because a lot of you have been involved in basketball and football this year, so that's probably nothing new. And again, this is kind of repetitive, but I found out pretty quick when I was trying to rent facilities that most of them require you to have a COVID policy. So I went through and I kind of took our policy in general and tried to fit it to the different sports. But the biggest thing is just try to wear your mask unless you're competing, or if you're not far enough away from kids. And then make sure they bring their own water, that kind of thing, and don't share food and water. So I don't have too much to say about that. I've talked about that all year, and I'm as tired of it as you guys are. That's kind of really, Philip, about all I had to say. Is get the dates up, get your dates kind of in your head. They're on the calendar, the TCAF website calendar. So you need to check that about once a week and see what's going on, if there's been any changes, because it can sure happen. I'm going to let Philip run with it, and we'll try not to be too long. Just be glad you didn't have to drive 75 miles for this meeting, or 50, or whatever we were doing a couple of years ago. Philip, you want to go ahead and take over any rules that need to be talked about, or changes that we may have, etc.?
So just a couple things. Honestly, I'm going to keep this very brief because, again, things are changing constantly, and maybe you, like I, are looking for updates frequently, and not just from obviously TCAF, but from what UIL is putting out as well. So the first thing is that I'm here. No problem finding someone that has the answer. And so I feel like I'm a pretty good point man. I enjoyed passing the ball when I played basketball a long time ago. So I am here to give great assists if I need to as well. Just back on the topic of game reports, just make sure that's done in a timely manner. And again, I think that should be the easiest way to keep it digital, and you're not having to sign off on things. And even the pitch count, that a couple of years ago felt a bit like a beatdown. I know it was simple, but it just felt like the paper thing, and I would lose the paper half the time, and then I'm trying to backtrack. And so that was, at least in my opinion, and some of yours, I know when we talked about it last year, just an extra hurdle that was unneeded. So the biggest thing, and I was talking to my AD today, was though we are Westlake, and there's sometimes this idea that we have only students from the town of Westlake, so lots of money. That's not actually true. And so we have kids that use some of the school equipment for baseball too, like helmets and bats and things. They don't have their own stuff, and they won't have their own stuff. And so I would just highly suggest having a way to, I don't know, each school is different, but I know we've got probably about 6 helmets. And what I'll be doing is giving them to very specific kids and having them just keep it for the year and not be rifling through helmets. Just because sanitizing that feels like a bit of a beat down if you're trying to switch between 2 or 3 helmets. Now, everyone's scenario is different. I understand that. And I can almost guarantee you that some of our teams, and I know my team will be sharing bats. And so that's another thing just to think about, obviously. And again, these are repetitive things that if you've played or if you've coached a sport this year, even if you've just been around any of the kids, it's the same type of thing. Make sure you're washing hands frequently, keeping we have a spray bottle, and I'm sure y'all do too, that it just dries. You don't have to wipe it down, so you're just spraying things. And I feel like I've become a professional sprayer. So just kind of thinking about that, because I know it populated in my mind today as I was thinking about some of our students that don't have their own equipment, and I know we do supply some of that. I had a thought and I just lost my mind because it's 2021. So starting next week, obviously we already went through those dates. I'll go ahead and again, a lot of this is, I bet a lot of you have looked over. Again, I am newish to Zoom, so I'm going to try my best here. But they had a few, let's see here, updates. I'll pull up the PDF. I can also send this. I mean, you can find it yourself as well, but because we do take a lot of this from UIL. Let me just pull this or try to share this, and hopefully it works. Oh, never mind. I cannot screen share. That's okay. I can link this. Again, you might have already seen it. It was just an update from, actually today was the last update. So it's, again, UIL, so it's very, quickly updated. The biggest thing was if you're hosting a tournament, I know we don't because we do not have a field. There was like maximum of 4 teams per site. So thinking about that, if you are trying to host a tournament, that you're not having a bunch of teams just sitting around all day and having some sort of plan on getting them, rifling them through. It says 2 teams playing in a game, obviously 2 teams warming up on opposite fields. So that's going to change some things. Maybe not for us because a lot of us either are going to all tournaments, we're not hosting them ourselves, or maybe we are hosting a small tournament. Like Bill said, make sure you have COVID protocols in place, which I'm sure you all do already, because again, all of your sports have already had to go through that. The face coverings thing, like I know, every school is kind of going through that a little bit different, but I just want to reiterate with like Bill, like I know that coaching basketball and wearing the mask, no boy, no. But I'm wearing that all the time. But like I've noticed, and I go, again, this is like a really pathetic thing to complain about, but like my voice has been thrashed more than usual. And it's not because, I'm yelling at the refs more. I actually think I'm yelling at them less. So, but wearing the mask, it is important. Obviously, none of us like doing it. I'm ready to throw all mine away and have a burning party or something. But just thinking about that, thinking about where you play, a lot of you might be blessed with a field. We are not. So that's something I would definitely check in with if you rent a park. Because like for us, we're not even sure where we're playing yet because Keller has put us sort of in limbo a bit. So making sure that you're communicating with those places if you are renting a field. Because again, I think Bill is touching on this too, it can be kind of hard right now for obvious reasons. And like the dugout that we use at KYA, I mean, a lot of you have played us there. The dugouts are tiny. So thinking about social distancing in a dugout makes my head spin a bit. So trying to do our best, of course, and wearing face coverings when appropriate. I don't know if anyone has any questions at this moment. I don't really have anything necessarily to touch on. I can send this UIL PDF to everybody. Again, this is located on their website. It was just, again, updated as of today. Their calendar is a little different than ours. They had a start date of actually, I believe, last Friday. So we're just a week behind them, but basically the same thing. Are there any questions or comments? I did have one thing I wanted to just like us to ponder for a moment, but it has nothing to do with COVID. It just has to do with baseball and us moving forward. And we definitely have had this conversation before, but I wanted to have it again. If we have no questions, I'll just kick it off there, and please feel free to take
one comment.
Yeah.
When we look at the schedules,
yes.
You guys, inevitably we have some weather situations. You may have some COVID situations come up. Do your very best to make games up in as timely a manner as you can. I know our Adventist schools won't be playing on Saturday, and I get that, and that's fine. So we'll go to a 3-day-a-week program if we have to make those up. But do your best and don't wait till, if you can get them done immediately after the miss on a Saturday, that's great. If it's weather, if it's COVID related, just as quickly as you can work those in. And our policy kind of been this way all year long. And I'll kind of give that to you because it's not the best in the world, but it's what we've done for most of the year. When a team goes into COVID, then they have COVID. And there's not much they can do about it other than to try to make those up. If they don't make them up, then it just counts as a no game. I have to do my hands so y'all can understand. It's just not a game. Now, there's other reasons that sometimes are COVID related. For example, we've had in basketball and volleyball, we had teams whose administration would not allow them to travel. That's a decision that as a school you make, and it is manageable. So what would happen to that is that game would be awarded to the other team, but it's not a forfeit. there is a huge difference between a forfeit and a game that's awarded. A game that's awarded is done so because it's the decision of administration, et cetera, that might cause that game to not be made up or played. It's not within your power, your kid's power, but it is something that somebody has the power to take care of. So those are awarded. A forfeited game would be one where you just simply refuse to go play somebody because the last time you played, you got 10 runned every, inning or whatever, and you don't want to play them anymore. And there is a big difference. That's a disciplinary measure then, and normally that does not go well within the league to not play your schedule out. So just be aware of saying we're going to forfeit that game because somebody was sick or this or that. That's something we need to talk about if that comes up. So make those games up in a timely manner. Do not wait till the week before for qualification to try to get them all in. There's going to be some we're going to lose and miss. Go ahead, Philip, if you're still there.
No, you're good. I was going to just kind of tacking on to that. Obviously making sure our games are made up. And again, I know you've all heard this before, and I've had issues in the past doing it myself. The max prep stats, like trying to get that in as soon as possible, because we don't want to be chasing you down for that as well. And I know that at least I think the last 2 or 3 years, we've used Game Changer, and that's made life quite easy because it wasn't me sitting at a laptop and importing unless it was something that was drastic change or something happened. It automatically was imported for us. And so maybe I know we've had great parents that have done, book for us, and it made my life a million times easier. But even if you're doing it or if you have a student doing it, making sure that those stats do get in as soon as possible.
And along with
somebody
that,
else, I think, maybe have
along with that, max preps are required. If you have no max preps, don't be surprised if you don't get anybody on your all district team, because that can happen. It can also carry a fine. So get those done in a timely manner. You only have to do those for your district games. You do not have to do them for your non-district games. All district games should be recorded on max preps.
Hey, Phil?
Yeah.
What are we gonna do with kids on the bases with masks?
When they're in the contest?
Yeah.
So the way that I read it is they wouldn't be wearing a mask because they're actually in the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
It would be it's different obviously than basketball because basketball you're going up and down all the time, but it'd kind of be like a free throw or something almost where the guys on the court, it's not like they're putting their mask on when they're standing there. So that's the way I read it, is that you would not have a mask if you're playing in the game and you're any of those 9 positions, you're rocking. So
I mean, I wasn't just talking about people in the outfield, but in the
on base too.
Yeah.
So if I hit a single or whatever, the way I read it is you would not put your mask on when you get to first.
So only people in the dugouts.
Yes, sir.
All right.
And then another thing, I know this was something, I think we talked about it last year. Again, last year seems like 10 years ago maybe or so. But the catching gear update, the NOCSA with the chest protector, they kind of upgraded their standard, if you will. And so I know we were already ordering new catcher's gear last spring because we were just due. And we had gone ahead and ordered these. Again, it's basically to help with impact-related heart attacks. It's just a new way that they had designed the chest area. And so, and I can send a little article on that as well if you'd like. But I wanted to just random things popping into my brain, of course. But that was one thing that kind of stuck in my brain just a second ago. And again, you can look that up. It was just as of I think summer of 2020 when all the craziness was going down. They're going to push out the requirement this year, so 2021. And again, we've always talked about with equipment, obviously some of our schools we don't have the funding for it right now, but I know we talked about it last spring. So I just want to bring it up again that if you're planning on getting gear, make sure you're looking into that. And it was pretty easy to find this new regulated gear. And we were just fortunate because we were already we had already been looking at the gear last spring before the season started.
Yeah, to kind of back you up on that, Phil,
Yeah.
I remember hearing UIL went to that too, went to that last year because knowing a few coaches in the public school system, and they said they had to completely change it, and so we ordered gear just like you're talking about last year.
And again, I do remember we had talked about this is coming for UIL, and we're going to follow this as well because it's a safety precaution. I mean, that's really all it is, which is obviously the most important thing. But yeah, thank you for that. So again, I would just look into that, and again, try your best. Like for us, I know when we ordered it, we actually went through one of our parent groups was able to buy us 2 sets of gear, which was great. Because again, our budget is not some massive thing like all of us, right? Like I don't think anyone has a massive budget. At least I don't. I'd build a freaking baseball field or somewhere. But again, I would look into that. And again, I can forward that information to everybody. I'll do that along with a little PDF breakdown. So if there's no other questions, this is something, again, I feel like we've talked about it a couple times, but it just kind of came to my attention again. Obviously I was looking at the schedules like all of us, and most of us have, rescheduled games and all those things. If we had spring break dates set up already, emailing people and trying to get some non-district. And I noticed that, for our division, I always get them flipped. Division 1, I think that's what we're in. There's 6, and then I think in Division 2, maybe 12, but I could be wrong. And this is something, again, we talked about this, I want to say 2 years ago, but I could be wrong. And that was, we know why, obviously, we're wanting just to split it, because, and I completely understand, because the conversation is numbers. We are much larger than us, as in Westlake, are much larger than the wide majority of other teams here. And I understand that completely. The thing that I just want, and again, this is just conversation. That's all. So don't if you're really fired up about this, we can absolutely talk afterwards. We can email. If you have a thought, please, this is the time to do it. But it almost feels like as a larger school, and again, COVID year, maybe, that stopped us from gaining some schools too. Absolutely. Because no one's really moving during a COVID year, but it's feeling more and more like the large schools are now only competing against, 4 teams. And it just feels like it's every year, it's almost dwindling potentially. And my thought was, and again, this is something we talked about 2 years ago, was we talked about, at that time, I think there was 4 districts or something, and they were all kind of just mixed together, and there was no split in divisions. It was just districts, and I think it was 4 or 5. We had talked about 2 districts that were, maybe you do it geographically, maybe you split it, probably where 3 and 3 of the large schools are split. So you're not, and I think football might do this sort of maybe. So if someone could talk about that, great. But the whole point of it would be, let's say whatever, us and I think, let's just say the 2 Newmans, because I know they're on Division 1. That's an easy one for me to remember. And then we had, I guess we would have 18 teams total. So 9, so 6 other teams. And there right away you have 8 games. Or if we had 20 teams, you got 9 games right away on district play, which is awesome, right? I feel like that, to me, that the district play thing always feels like a little bit more. Obviously we can go play non-district and we're all going to do that anyways, but that makes it more kind of a full schedule naturally. And then the thought would be that you would take the 4, and again, I think they do this in football, but please tell me if they don't.
The top 4.
They'd take the top in each, and then the top 2 with the most kids would go in the Division 1 postseason tournament. So you'd still have 2 postseason tournaments.
Right.
You'd have the Division 1 postseason tournament with the 4 largest, 2 and 2, the largest population in one, and then the other 4 would be combined into a Division 2. So the reason I bring that up is just because I understand completely. We have way more numbers. We're always going to have more potential darts to throw, right? Always. We can't recruit, so I'm just getting kids that walk through the door. And typically, in all honesty, they're not coming to Westlake to play baseball. I wish they would. But I think that would just make, again, and this is my opinion, and you can absolutely disagree. It would, because every sport's different too, right? So basketball, baseball, very different. Baseball, you have 9 dudes, but we've played some of y'all, and y'all have been really good. And it wasn't because you were you had 15 to 20 dudes. It was because you had in baseball, maybe 1 or 2 arms I think about you, Dustin, like at Lakeland, y'all had that one arm, and like that was a year that will not happen at Westlake again, by the way. Like those 2 years, I just want everyone to know, like, that will not happen again. Like I had 9 starting like juniors, and then they played again as seniors, and they were good. Like the chances of me getting that amount of people.
Yeah, you were as good as a 3A, 4A public school.
But like that's my point. Is like that's the same chance of me opening my wallet and finding $1 million. And I'll just give you a hint, that's not happening. So, but my point in this is Dustin's team at Lakeland, like we won like 2-1 or something.
Yeah,
it was a great baseball game. And and again, I know you're going to think it's easy for me saying that from a large school, but I also know as a large school, it's kind of like you look around and you say, well, shoot, if we only have like 4 teams, like what are we doing here? Like, are we really playing a district or, a division? Or are we really just kind of playing almost an open schedule? And so it's just something to think about. We're not making any decisions. We're not changing anything right now. It's just an interesting thought. And the other thing is, I know for a fact there would be years, it's not always going to be the 3 largest schools getting those, 3 of those 4 spots. I guarantee you that would not happen because I know some of y'all. You're great coaches and y'all do a kick butt or whatever else word you want to use there to create a great baseball culture. And I know you would still knock us off sometimes too. I promise you. And so I just want us to keep an open mind moving forward. And again, this is not, we can table this and have more conversations, maybe just marinate on it. But I think it would just make the whole TCAF baseball. I just think it would beef it up for sure. Cause it would,
well,
I think it does this. So.
We've got another school or two that was going to try to come in this year that they were talking about it. I don't know if you've talked to San Antonio or not. They want to come in. They were undecided. They want to, but they're not quite over the hump as far as travel and this and that. Because baseball, you play the double round robin, and I said, well, we could potentially play a double header instead of doing all that travel. And we're certainly open to considerations. You guys can cross over and play this year in your scheduling. It's going to be
for sure
be a difficult year. At the end.
And I know for a fact after looking at, because when I first looked and my schedule on our calendar right now had us with 8 teams total. So now going back, I'm thinking to myself, well, Dustin emailed me. Now I actually do have an opening potentially. Maybe he doesn't anymore, but you know what? I actually do. So I know for a fact, I can reach out. I'm just thinking, again, this is, further down the road. I just want to get through 2021, but it's just a thought to marinate on.
That scheme has worked fairly well in football, and I would suggest that we try to get together before realignment, at next year for 22, I guess. And, I'll get with you guys and we can talk about it and see what the group consensus is. I'm not opposed to discussion. It's just tough whenever you take a guy like Josh. Josh, how many kids y'all have in high school?
I did a count the other day. I think we've got 25.
Yeah, and Dustin, how many do you have, Dustin?
Right, about the same number.
Yeah, that's kind of
25,
tough.
26, maybe 28.
Yeah, I know Victory's got a few more, but we can look at that.
It reminds me of Heritage, though, that a couple of years ago we played them in the first round, and it was a good game. And it was not a big number, 20 kids or something.
Yeah.
And that was one of the years that I think that was our junior year where we were rolling people, and it was a good game. Yeah,
for the most part, though, you guys that are bigger, like you guys are around 300, and I think.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Sloan.
I get
pretty big.
I get all of it. For sure.
Yeah, it's for the most of the time you're going to prevail, but we can talk about the options there. I met with a group the other day and we discussed options. So
just an open thought. This is not me jamming anything through anywhere. It was just something that was on my heart. I think just because I just know as a large school you look around and you're like, oh man, we just lost half the room. And so, and again, it's not because, I promise you, it's not because I'm oh yes, I just want to cream everyone by 20 runs those 2 years, to me, we were really good. I give you that completely. And some of y'all are going to be oh, you're going to be like that every year. And when you see us this year, it's going to look a heck of a lot different. I can guarantee you that.
Well, I imagine some people would like to get a hold of you in one of these years.
That's the thing. This year might be it.
Oh, it's called getting even,
But
even.
but yeah, Phil. But to kind of go what you're talking about, like if I were in your shoes, I'd totally be. I get that 100%.
It's just it's tough either way. There's no there's
it's
no
tough. There's it's like you try to find a happy ground. I know that's what we're trying to do here. I know that's what Bill and everyone else involved was trying to do that. And
absolutely.
Yeah, I get you. Especially being a primarily baseball guy as well. I definitely see the appeal of having a bigger district schedule, especially when you're playing home and away. So you got 14, 16 games right away. And so you might pick up maybe a tournament just to get a quick, get your feet underneath you before you get into district play. Because in baseball, just like basketball, you play home and away.
Well, one thing,
I think we get these like natural rivalries going too. That I feel, and again, that's not like what it's all about, but it
makes it more fun for the kids because they look forward to those games.
It's that natural rivalry, which I think is healthy too.
Yep.
One thing I'm happy of though is that we're here. And we're talking about playing this year, where last year we didn't. We had this meeting, but we didn't get to play.
It wasn't looking very good.
And I'm happy for now that we're going to get to play, and I believe that we will.
Yeah.
I believe we'll have bumps in the road, but I believe that we'll get past those. I believe we'll get past.
Speaking of bumps, and I see your message. Carrie, so I'll notate that myself. Thank you for that information. Speaking of bumps in the road, talk about worst timing ever. I coach JV basketball as well. I know this is a little off topic, but we have to go over and play y'all at Cedar Hill tomorrow, and without 5 of my guys that have played primary minutes basically the entire year. So that's awesome. Great timing.
That's good timing.
Oh, perfect. Just perfect.
Jeez.
So Carrie, am I seeing that you guys are not going to play this year?
We can't, Bill. I've tried everything in the world to get baseball going, and we just don't have the kids.
Is everybody else?
I'm scraping the barrel to get 8, and I tell you what, we are going to do is try to take a few of the 8th grade kids and see if we can play maybe a little JV schedule.
Yeah.
And try to build it that way. So I'll send out an email and see if anybody's got some JV opportunities.
Is everybody else that we got here tonight still planning on fielding a varsity group?
Hey, Bill, Josh at Parkview, I'll know by Friday. I've got a handful of kids that are one day it's yes, one day it's no, one day mama wants them to play, one day daddy doesn't want them to play. So as of now, I've only got 5 kids that have confirmed, yes, I am for sure playing, and those 5 are trying everything they can possibly think of to get at least 4 more kids to play. Okay. I gave them until Friday as a deadline.
Okay.
And just told them, like, if we don't, if we don't have 4 more to play, then that way everybody's got time to, replace the game against us. So I won't know for sure until the end of the week.
Well, those will be some crossover opportunities for you guys. You want to cross over districts or cross over divisions. Anybody else got anything tonight? Says here, Hazel.
Again, like Bill said,
Hazel Christian.
The best part is that we
JV games. Hazel Christian looking for JV games as well.
Billy, am I being heard?
Who is?
Yes.
Yeah, go Gary.
Coach Miller, could you give me your phone number?
Absolutely. I'll go ahead and I'll put my cell phone directly in the chat. Just don't spam me, please. Don't spam call me. Don't send me.
I don't even know what that means.
Messages.
I'm really old school.
Yeah, you're not that old, man.
I'm old school and I'm old.
Here you go. Here's my direct cell phone. You can feel free to call or text. Either is great. Again, just don't sign me up for promos.
Gary, you want me to tell you?
I'm going to call you when this meeting's over.
All right, perfect.
Do you have the number, Gary?
It should be there in the chat now, hopefully for everybody.
Well, I didn't know if you had the chat open or not.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to make sure.
You already know.
Yeah, we've been talking about you, Bill.
Bill, you already know Sherry's probably doing it for him.
Yeah, I bet she is. All right, guys. Well, I don't have anything else. Appreciate you being here. We'll try to get some updates out regularly to the athletic director. Some of you are ADs there. I always ask them to pass those on. So we can go from there. DCA, keep the date with St. Paul. We need games. Kerry, on your chat, you can see that. That's something for you might want to consider. And yes, you could keep that date as far as our league is concerned. It'd just be a
Well, so the reason why I'm asking, because we're probably gonna be just as young as you are. I think I may have 2 seniors, maybe. I don't have any juniors. I'm majority sophomore, freshman, and a few 8th graders.
Yeah.
We are extremely young.
Okay, super. Well, everybody.
Believe it or not, I only have 1 senior. That's crazy, right?
That's a crazy feeling because, I mean, I'm used to playing with UIL teams where we have maybe like 6 or 7, and it blows my mind.
Yeah. This year, my young group that I've always had that they'll see me play with is now of age, and so I'm senior heavy this year.
Hey, that's a turning point.
Enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing, man. Enjoy it.
As long as we can just play.
Yeah, I hear that. Schedule 1 million games.
Yeah. Without getting too crazy anyway.
Absolutely. Well,
Okay,
again,
guys.
thanks again for everybody. If y'all need anything, you can always email or now text me or call me. Feel free to do that. I'm definitely here for you. If you have an idea or anything, if you need games, I can also reach out to people directly, and I might reach out to you because I might need to pick up a game or 2. And I've got a lot of young guys too. So.
All right, guys. Well, listen, we'll call it a night. We'll look toward that first game of the season, and good luck to everybody. But yeah, if you got any questions about baseball, you need to address Philip, and I'll be around to help support, but he's the baseball guy. You guys have a great night. We'll catch you down the stretch.
All right. See y'all later.
See you.
Yeah.
Thank you.